Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pope.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Pope. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived.
Demand the truth.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Glad that you could be here. So, going through a few adjustments, making some upgrades here. So, haven't been as regular with the show as I have been in the past. Typically a Monday through Friday, and that's the plan to get back on that schedule. So, here we are today, Tuesday. Let's jump into where we're looking at. Today is the 18th of November. 18th of November. Moving right along, aren't we? Thanksgiving's right around the corner. So the 18th of November, what we've got here is a sun sign in Scorpio and a moon sign in Libra. So we have water and we have air. Water and air. Water is emotions, air is words and actions. The air from Libra is all about balance. So this is about time making peace, finding balance with what's going on in the world, with what's going on within ourselves. And ultimately we find out that both of those things connect together. Because what's going on with ourselves is a reflection of what's going on in the world around us and vice versa. So if we can find a way to really deal with that, and unconsciously what's going on underneath the surface is that justice that is wanting to be imposed so all things can get back to peaceful balance, to harmony. Alright, because tomorrow we're going to make a transition in the moon sign tomorrow night into the next phase, which will be Scorpio. And so now we're going to be getting into the feelings of everything. So we want to kind of get through this mental phase here, resolve what's going on so we can move forward. Definitely want to do that. Aspects coming up today that we need to be aware of is that shortly afternoon, or a little bit before 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have Neptune, which is jumping into the mix, and it's going to be in a square with the moon sign Libra. So Libra, which is justice, balance, is going to be meeting up with Pluto. Sorry, I said it was Neptune. It's Pluto. Deep transformation. So there's going to be some, real transformative opportunities this afternoon. We have to move through those. Some lessons we're going to have to learn. And then later, as we move into the afternoon, there is a balancing Uranus. Unexpected change is the character that's in the opposite end of this teeter-totter here, with Libra on one side. So we've got some lessons today, but then we have some balancing, and we'll see how that all plays itself out. Alright, if we look at the Tree of Life to see some of our placement for today, we can see where everything is. Alright, and what we've got going on here is the path of Scorpio, right here. Path of Libra, which is right there. And our numerology for today, let me just get this set up for us here. Our numerology for today is 1 + 1 + 1 + 8 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 4. So we add all those together, it's 18. 1 plus 8 equals 9. So our numerology for today is the number 9. The number 9 relates to this specific card right here, the Hermit. The Hermit is that teacher that becomes the teacher after going away in solitude to really learn some things about oneself. Alright, so we've got all our placements here. Let's take a good look today then at which one do we want to look at here. Let's look at our moon sign, since this is where we're at, Justice. The key is the center of the tarot pack. It stands for equilibrium, balance, etc., symbolized by the title and the scales. These also symbolize the Hindu doctrine of karma, which literally means action or work. It manifests itself in the form of the law of undeviating justice. This doctrine is expressed in the Judeo-Christian dictum, as a man soweth, so shall he also reap. In physics, it is stated that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. It is the appearance of cause and effect. The two curtains, suggesting duality, represent balance by their symmetrical arrangement. The throne repeats the pillar and the veil symbolism of key 2. The circle and the square in the front of the crown refer to the movement of spirit within the material forms. The sword represents discrimination, which is closely allied to the idea of justice. Okay. Key 11, this is important. It is the agency through which the forces of the keys 1 through 10 transfer to the powers 12 through 21. Okay, just remember that. That is part of the idea of the balance. So 1 through 10. 1 through 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or in this case, we're going to look at 1, the Magician, 2, the High Priestess, 3, the Empress, 4, the Emperor, 5, the Hierophant, 6, the Lovers, 7, the Chariot, 8, Strength, 9, the Hermit, and 10, the Wheel. These 10 powers all express themselves through here, Libra, and they express themselves as these 10. Which are the Hangman, New Perspective, Death, Regeneration, Temperance, connection with our higher self, Ain, the Devil, looking through illusion, the Tower, preconceived ideas, the Star, meditation, the Moon, faith, the Sun, enlightenment, regeneration, judgment, which is this one here, the card of judgment, and then the World, which is just signing our name, owning, taking charge of our own being. So that's what's going on right there. Very important for us to kind of look at it, how it all comes together. That's what justice is all about. So if we understand those ideas of the 1 through 10, transferring their powers through the 12 through 21, we'll learn a lot. We'll understand a lot. The current moon phase, 15% full to waning moon. This means it's making its way downward, back to the new moon. Up in the sky, very high now in the north, in the fall. Milky Way is dim, Cepheus, husband and myth to brighter Cassiopeia. Its constellation pattern includes 2 landmark variable stars, Delta and Mu. For binoculars or even the naked eyes, Delta is the prototype Cepheid, Mu, Heracles. Herschel's Gamut star is one of the brightest stars known. The Mayan Oracle today is a 7-tone day. 7-tone, 7-star seed guided by the warrior. I channel in order to target inspiring awareness. I seal the input of flowering with the resonant tone of attunement. I am guided by the power of intelligence. Space weather or solar wind 447.0 kilometers per second. We have a notice here of the Leonid meteor shower. Today Earth is passing through a stream of debris from comet 55P. Temple Tuttle, source of the annual Leonid meteor shower. People who remember the Leonid storms of the late 90s and early 2000s should know that this is not a storm year. Forecasters expect no more than 15 Leonids per hour during the darkest hours before the local sunrise. Our planetary K-index is 3, still quiet, but at the verge of some agitation. A little bit of the coronal hole passing through, says over the 17th and the 19th, so we're in that window when we'll be feeling some effect. M-class flare possibility is still at 65%. X-class at 25, geomagnetic storm activity 20 and 25 in the high latitudes. On the Mayan Oracle, today is, the Jewish calendar. Today is 25 Cheshvan. 25 Cheshvan. So the daily thought associated with this is learning the child. There are no one-way streets in our world. There is no one who gives without receiving. There is no one who receives without providing something back in return. So it is with the child. Just as the adult gives the child the knowledge and the wisdom of life, so the child provides the adult the keys to living it fully. Very good, very good. And that is the news and information to get us started today. UFO News is up next. Here we go.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. So the first story that we have going on over here takes place... Actually, hold on. Brought up the wrong page. Here we go. Here's our UFO news for today. Trying to work out a little bit of volume issue here because it might be a little bit low. If it is, I will get it worked out, so not to worry. Not to worry at all. How about that? That should make all the world of difference. Okay. Very good. Now you can hear me. And I can hear me. Okay, so the UFO news. Here we go. First story we have is a story that comes to us from Victoria, Australia, November 14th. November 2014, close up. We've certainly seen this kind of shit before. And the position where it was seen, proximity to the land here. This extraordinary catch was found by an avid UFO hunter in Australia this week. YouTube user Scott McMahon has found using a Google Earth map. Don't worry, us Scots are on the case. This UFO has 3 signs of being real. What I like about this UFO is that it's tilted at an angle, which is what Bob Lazar says is the typical way discs move. Also, there is a distortion field around it. Bob Lazar, Area S4 scientist, said that the distortion is around the UFO when flying. It is due to the propulsion system on board. Thirdly, you can see the wave guide sticking up to the top center of the UFO. Okay, so all of the things that Bob Lazar talks about are present. Check out Bob Lazar's UFO sketches to understand more. He worked on them, and the CIA spread rumors that he was debunked, having never worked there. Wrong. Lazar is legit. His intel is invaluable to the UFO community. Don't blindly trust me. Instead, see for yourself. And then here is video for you to check out. Bob Lazar, location, and moving on to the next story. So next up, we have a sighting that takes place up with Apollo 12. Lots of sightings that take place up around the Apollo missions and have been, well, when they were going on anyway. NASA source. This UFO hovering over the hills in the distance was found in an old Neco crater photo. The UFO has a perfect hole in its upper quarter and a long arm-like base. It's metallic in structure and appears to be watching the Apollo 12 unmanned photo. The Apollo 12 mission started on November 12th and returned April 20th. I think even NASA overlooked this UFO, another amazing find by StreetCap of YouTube. Okay, good sighting, good video there. 2 UFOs caught over town in England on the BBC. Our location. This fantastic catch happened on the BBC News during a live broadcast. Last month, it took place in a small town of 6,000 residents called Walton on the Naze of the UK. The fact is, it is an area of low population, makes it a higher chance that these are real UFOs. Also, the fact that most UFO cloaks won't work during sunset. Here we see 2 to 3 UFOs. It's also a very cloudy day, and these white UFOs are more likely to be caught on camera. Okay, we have a 2-minute video of the sighting that took place on the news. There we go in the background right there. Happened pretty quick, and here's the second one. Well, it's still there. There we go. Okay, very good. Links available. Silver UFO over Mexico City. Strange looking object. This diamond-like UFO was seen over Mexico City this week and moves very slowly across the sky. So slowly, in fact, that it's highly unlikely that it is a balloon. Yes, that was my first thought. However, the speed of the wind normally would push any balloon many times faster than the object. It also would have been nice if the guy panned out so we could see the area to give us a sense of perspective. Alright, there we go. Paris. New footage of a bright unidentified flying object or orbs hovering in the sky above Paris, France, recorded the 14th of November. Witness report: I caught a nice UFO fleet during the beautiful sunset the other day. The UFOs were multicolored. I saw some red colors appearing at some point in the objects. The fleet of lights were descending to reach the clouds, certainly to hide, but maybe it was another landing. I'm starting to see more and more UFO fleets these days. 2 days earlier, I saw a pretty stealth white fleet orb in the morning. It was too late to record. Video is 2 minutes, 37 seconds. There's our UFOs right here. You see them? When you enlarge the screen, you can certainly see it much better. Next up, Alabama. Hovering classic-shaped UFO accelerates upward and disappears. A disc-shaped UFO was reported by an Alabama witness at Hughley. The mysterious object to two bright, tubular-shaped lights, according to the testimony filed at the witness reporting database at the Mutual UFO Network. The report was lodged under case 61372. States that the classic-shaped UFO hovered over nearby treetops. The witness first saw the object when he was eastbound on the street near Hughley around 3 a.m. On the 2nd of November, he saw the mysterious object going downward at a slow speed from the west. The object hovered above the treetops along the side of the road for a few seconds. He said that during the strange event, he was on the straight part of the highway with no other traffic, so he clearly saw the object without distractions. The report says the witness also saw the white lights very clearly, which were side by side on the bottom of the UFO and appeared to extend its whole length. However, the witness admitted that he did not see the outline of the craft because he was blinded by the dark sky. Okay, the link's available. And one more report for today. UFO sighting recorded from an airplane over Iran. A bright UFO recorded hovering over Iran from an airplane window on the 6th of November. In the 34-second video footage, a mysterious circular object can be seen moving at a steady speed through the heavy clouds over the country in Western Asia. The incredible footage was taken by a passenger sitting on a plane. The video showed that a large white circular object was flying several feet below the passenger's plane. There were several clouds near the UFO, but it could not be a cloud. It was moving through the clouds from the right to the left direction. According to the passenger, the shape of the UFO was like a disc, and it was not looking like any plane. The object could not be mistaken for a helicopter. The passenger reported the mysterious object was moving steadily, and when it reached to the edges of the camera, it became unclear before it disappeared out of the shot. Okay, so there you have it. Sightings everywhere. That's our UFO news for today. I will be back momentarily. Let's give this work, see how this works out. Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace. Shall we continue on? Alright, I've got to still change some things in the background here. You see the Microsoft Windows logo in the back. So as you know, I've been doing this show for 5 years. I started in 2009, Monday through Friday has been the time the show's been on for most of the time. There's been the occasional period where I've taken a week off here or there, and the shows haven't been so regular, but typically Monday through Friday I'm on. Well, in the last couple weeks I've been co-hosting a show on Saturday nights, which has included UFO news. However, things have changed with the Saturday night schedule. So I am announcing to you right now, letting you know that Saturday nights from 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. Pacific time on KCAA radio will be another version of First Contact Radio, a weekend version. So 6 days a week you can catch First Contact Radio, and one of them will be Saturday, will be KCAA radio. It's a 2-hour show. It'll be a call-in show. There'll be music and a bit more that's going on that show. We'll keep basically the same format, so I think you'll enjoy it. So if you like what you've been hearing here on the show that we've been doing on the weekdays, you should tune in on the weekends, because I think you'll also enjoy it and give a chance to call in, maybe ask some questions, because I know I've gotten emails from you over the years saying that you have questions and asked if there was ever going to be something like this, and here it is. So Saturday night, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. live call-in show, First Contact Radio Weekend Edition. Now, that brings us to the news for this segment here. I thought I'd bring up a couple of stories we would check out. Important stories that are in the news. First thing, we know John F. Kennedy's anniversary of his assassination is coming up. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to look at a few things today. We'll probably do that throughout the course of this week, and certainly explore things on the Saturday show. This one says Senator Richard Russell suspected foul play in the JFK assassination. I would like to preface this with a story about the Warren Commission. In 1976, I was a check-in agent for the TWA at Dulles Airport in Washington, D.C. Every week we had agents from the CIA, FBI, and a host of other intelligence services traveling, most of the time with their weapons. The procedure was to take their weapons, put them in a lockbox which would be stored in the cockpit. The agents would travel with their weapons, but we would record their seat location and notify the flight crews, and they were not allowed to consume alcohol while traveling. Most of the time, the agents eagerly parted with the handguns. In 1976, I checked in 2 members of the Warren Commission. They gave up their guns without argument. After the check-in process was completed, we discussed the JFK assassination, and they said, rather emphatically, that the assassination of John F. Kennedy was without a doubt a conspiracy, but it will never come out. To say I was taken aback was an understatement. So what we've got here is the information that we're aware of. First, we've got Lee Harvey Oswald, the patsy. An objective review of the evidence concludes that Oswald was framed. In November 1963, Richard B. Russell was a powerful United States senator, having served in Congress for 30 years. The morning that President John F. Kennedy was assassinated, November 22nd, Russell was in an ante-room of the Senate chamber, monitoring wired feeds from an Associated Press and the United Press. A week later, on November 29th, Russell received a telephone call from President Lyndon B. Johnson, an old Senate friend who asked him to serve in the Warren Commission established to investigate Kennedy's assassination. Russell flatly refused, only to receive a second call from Johnson 5 hours later, informing the Georgian that he had been appointed to the commission and that the news had already been released. This technique was typical of Johnson's leadership style. Despite his surprise and anger, Russell, who had spent his entire life in public service, reluctantly accepted the position. As the controversial investigation started, Russell was experienced enough to suspect the motives of the FBI and the CIA, the principal investigative agencies in the probe, and others who worked within the government. At the initial meeting of the Warren Commission on December 5th, 1963, Russell accused the FBI of leaking information to the press to force the commission to accept their ideas. Something strange is happening, Russell wrote. He thought that the FBI and other organizations were planning to show Oswald as the sole assassin and the untenable position to him. At a meeting on December 16th, Russell repeated his conviction, adding that he doubted that the CIA would provide requested data and suggesting that evidence it did submit would be doctored. During a session on January 27, 1964, Russell drew an admission from former CIA Director Alan Dulles, and the CIA and the FBI would never publicly admit that Oswald had worked for them. If there had indeed been true, Russell also believed that Oswald, as the sole assassin theory advanced by the FBI, had been reached hastily as a result of an incomplete investigation. They have tried the case and reached a verdict on every aspect, Russell concluded. On February 24th, a frustrated Russell wrote a letter of resignation from the committee to President Johnson, complaining that the Warren Commission was holding, scheduling, and canceling meetings without his knowledge. Russell reconsidered and never submitted the letter. One of the most discredited declarations of the Warren Commission concerned the single bullet, or the magic bullet, that was claimed to have inflicted a non-lethal wound on Kennedy, and that started an intricate journey that inflicted all the wounds of the Texas Governor John Connally sitting beside the President. On September 16th, Russell, citing the testimony of Connally, his wife who sat beside him, and the Zapruder film, wrote, "I do not share the finding." Russell also declared that a number of suspicious circumstances and a lack of evidence against Oswald precluded the determination that Oswald, and Oswald alone, without the knowledge, encouragement, or assistance of any other person, planned and perpetrated the assassination. That statement was omitted from the final report of the Commission. On the following day, the Commission met for the last time to present and discuss the official Warren report. Russell advanced the same two reservations of the previous day, but this statement was excised from the transcripts of the meeting. Later that day, Russell repeated his objections to President Johnson in a recorded conversation of the magic bullet. Russell said, "I don't believe it." Johnson replied, "I don't either." Russell was the first commission member to criticize the report in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution of September 29th. 2 years later, on November 20th, 1966, the AJC called the senator the Great Dissenter. On June 6, 1968, Russell told Howard Weisberg, a noted investigator and journalist, that we have not been told the truth about Oswald. Russell further stated that the FBI and other federal agencies had deceived the Warren Commission about Oswald's background and ballistics evidence. On WSB-TV on February 11, 1970, Russell said, "I have never believed that Oswald planned that altogether by himself. I think someone else worked with him." Russell also stated that the majority of the Warren Commission wanted to find Oswald to be the lone assassin. Many authorities believe that the government desired to dispel rumors and conspiracy theories in order to calm the public in the aftermath of the shocking assassination. Congressional committees have since upheld his criticisms, citing the FBI and the CIA for not adequately investigating the murder and failing to provide useful information to the Warren Commission. While some researchers believe and advance controversial findings that there were 2 or more shooters who fired up to 6 bullets, Russell believed that Oswald was the lone shooter and fired 3 shots. So, very interesting indeed. And as I said, over the course of the week, we'll be dealing more with the issue of JFK. Alright, so what we've got going on here is, this was an article sent to me from one of our listeners asking if I would put this out in the hopes that it would go viral from all of us passing this around. And I read through it. There's some really important information here. It's a petition petitioning Facebook to allow Native Americans to use their native names on their profiles. It says many Native Americans are being forced to have their legal Native American names removed and are being forced to use fake names because their real names were not acceptable to be used. This is discrimination and disrespectful. Their native names are legal and binding with certified papers, not stage names, yet Facebook insists on removing them with no explanation and will not hear any arguments. I petition Facebook as a Native American to allow my people to use the names that they were given and to stop this racism. And here's the petition to allow Native Americans to use their native names on their profiles. Alright, so this is an important issue of all, and I think any time that we're discriminating ourselves, we need to stop, look, and listen. Stop, look, and listen and what's going on. We're just pigeonholing ourselves that we can't use these names, we can't use that name, and it's kind of crazy. Sort of crazy, isn't it? Crazy, crazy, crazy. Here's another article. This was sent to me over at Facebook, brought to my attention. I'm not sure what to make of this one here. NASA confirms Earth will go dark for 6 days in December. NASA confirms that Earth will go dark for 6 days in December 2014. NASA put out this alert this last week confirming that the world will experience total darkness between December 16th and December 22nd. NASA Director Charles Bolden released an emergency preparedness speech in the video below. He encouraged us all to prepare for any attacks that may affect our communities during this time. The world will remain dark for these 6 days, completely void of sunlight, due to a solar storm which will cause dust and space debris to block 90% of the sun. Bolden urges Americans to remain calm as we experience the largest solar storm our solar system has ever seen in 250 years. Reporters interviewed a few people. And some of the responses were disturbing. One man says that he was ready. We're going to be purging. 6 days of darkness means... Okay, I'm not going to read that. Despite these 6 days of darkness, officials say they do not expect Earth to experience any major problems. However, they do encourage you to listen to the emergency preparedness video below and to be proactive for any possible occurrence. Alright, the video itself here, it's at 2 minutes 37 seconds. But what's, this comes from the Daily Buzz Live. Let's see here, let's double check. We'll go to the About. Do we see anything here that tells us that this is a hoax site, a prank site? I don't know that it is. I've heard other stories there. So if you come across anything in this regards, please pass that along, because like yourself, I'm not quite certain what that's all about. But we can confirm it by watching space weather, as we do, seeing what the tendencies are that are going on. And as it gets closer, we'll know, because December, those 2 weeks, December 15th, 16th is coming up. Only a few weeks away. Alright, let's jump over to an article here. This is an article at In5D. Metaphysical explanations of specific physical aches, pains, and sickness. I thought this would be a good one because, quite frankly, I'm hearing a lot of people these days, myself included, talking about a variety of aches and pains that seem to be occurring, but not quite knowing from where. As many people in the spiritual world know, everything happens for a reason. It becomes a lot easier to understand why things happen when we can see it from a metaphysical perspective. The following is a reference list for the physical aches and pains and illnesses, along with what your body is trying to tell you. And it's by Olwe, O-L-W-E, Olwe. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Okay, hair, social statement. The hair and how it is grown on your head is the most immediate personal statement made by individuals as to their preferred role in life. Often used as a sexual attractant, the hairdo, like all other parts of the whole self-identity, can become holistically enforced through time, resulting in the physical proof of one's personal statement, as in the tonsure or Franciscan-style skullcap baldness tendency in men who wish to cultivate a public image of themselves as peace-loving, kind brother, even though the image conflicts with certain tendencies to the contrary. Hair loss may conclude with sudden change in self-image, often due to traumatic experiences that challenge one's previous self-statement. Genetic tendencies must naturally be considered a significant factor. Scalp. As the highest living tissue of the body, the scalp reflects contact with higher truths. Conflicts of religious opinion, philosophy, or strong psychic phenomena that are difficult to deal with may trigger a sympathetic development of skin distress to the scalp. Social sensitivity. The skin touches the most potent and impersonal contact available to us. Any traumatic or conflict-generating events in life may trigger a sympathetic reaction to the skin at the location of the body which describes the area of distress. Whether eczema, rashes, boils, or more serious skin conditions, the holistic implication is that one's inner sensitivities are being challenged or outraged by events that require us to override our normal response, behaviors, and feelings. The brain and the nervous system. While there are many other things that we value highly and rely upon in life, information or factual input, or how we deal with it, is a powerful influence in life. Anytime we are forced to deal with information overload or conflicting ideas about reality, we may experience a sympathetic response from our brain and nervous system, which processes that information. From migraine headaches to spinal meningitis or other brain and spinal conditions, information-related crises require deep analysis of one's information conflicts and how to restore sense of one's orderly comprehension of reality. The skull. Psychic self-containment. Our ability to be our own type of unique type of person is holistically centered in the bones of the skull. Trauma, injury, or illness affecting this area indicates a difficulty remaining who we are. The holistic suggestion is that one look at events or circumstances that may be forcing change to the self-identity of the individual psyche and seek always to resolve the identity stress. Face. Showing one's true feelings. Expression or the look on one's face is subject to stress from any situation, which limits our ability to fully express our inner feelings. From having to conceal or falsify our feelings to having to face strong opposition to those feelings from others, the face can experience a sympathetic response ranging from partial paralysis to inflammations, rashes, neurological tics, or other abnormalities. Full, honest, and stress-free self-expression is, of course, the holistic recommendation in all such situations, though that often requires change in personal climate or lifestyle situation. The ears get the message. Other people are constantly telling us their feelings, needs, and opinions. When we, for whatever reason, cannot or do not receive these feelings or give them credence, a sympathetic response may occur in the ears and the auditory canal. From earaches to tinnitus or inner ear infections or hearing loss, such reactions indicate a message barrage that we are incapable of dealing with. A typical example would be the input overload earache experienced by young children unaccustomed to school form levels of message input from teachers, classmates, and parents combined. While some hearing conditions do not respond to holistic improvements, in general it is recommended that a break should be taken in the message input department while stress is released. Note that some instances of auditory abnormalities are connected with unusual psychic states, including spirit communication. Eyes, recognizing objective facts. Seeing is believing. We sometimes have to see and admit facts that we would prefer not to have to admit. Such conflicts between inner vision and objective facts can cause a sympathetic response from the eyes and the optic nerves, leading to the pain, impaired vision, or other abnormalities. The holistic recommendation in such cases is to admit the truth and to find new ways to see the future that are more realistic. Note that there are some things which challenge every conventional idea of reality, whether called hallucination, clairvoyance, or divine visions. These events too can be accepted and dealt with as insight and into the self and its relation to reality, which may be far stronger than any we realize. Sinuses, psychic soundboards, how we register subliminal input from others. Human beings are not always completely upfront with each other about their real feelings. Sometimes we are being sent one message verbally and have quite another on a silent emotional level. In such situations, the sinus activities in the face and the skull can have a sympathetic response in the form of pressure, blockage, and infection, which informs us that we are receiving psychic input in between people's words. The holistic recommendation is clearing the air through communication, asking others their feelings and expressing one's own until eventually one can track down the source of pressure. Note some extremely sensitive psychics experience sinus blockage as part of their telepathic and clairvoyant sensitivity, and only advanced psychic development training can help them track down these sources. The nose, testing the air around us. Mankind may be thousands of years away from other animals in intellectual development, but we retain many animal-level senses and instincts that our civilized lifestyles do not teach us to recognize. The sense of smell is one of those. Recognizes the most direct sensory pathway to the brain. The sense of smell informs us on an instinctive level or animal level of our safety, social welcome, and natural association with others. When we attempt to override this instinctive unconscious knowledge, we may experience a sympathetic response in the form of nose bleeding, blockage, pressure, and other afflictions. So this is quite interesting. As you can see, there's more on the list here. Let me see. Let me pick a big one here. People deal with hands or shoulders. Bearing the load. The shoulders are only part of the body which carry the heavy weight for a great length of time. As such, the mean exactly to the body-the-mind interface. Anytime we experience stress or change to the burden-bearing part of our life, such as too much responsibility at work or a change in our load, we experience a sympathetic response in the form of pain, loss of strength, or nerve conditions to the shoulder areas. The holistic recommendation is workload reduction, though this is easier said than done. In many cases, often we feel we simply must bear it because it cannot, and our condition may worsen instead of getting better from knowing why the problem began. However, since massage, heat, acupuncture, chiropractic care, and other treatments can often reduce the pain of a workload stress, many people continue to overwork long after the body has advised them to stop. Eventually, the body insists, and severe distress is the final word. Alright, so good list here. At the very end, what have we got at the very end? Just goes to illnesses. Alright, there you go. So, check it out. It's a good list that really gets into discussing some important things. You know, when we learn that the body is affected by the things that we do, and we learn to take more responsibilities and understand that the diseases we have and the illnesses are all connected, we start to be more effective and live life in a little different manner. And so we're just all learning, and we just along the process of learning, we got to make sure that we are patient with each other. That's very important, that we are patient with each other. All right, let's jump over here to our message for today. Let me see if we get this all situated properly. Alright, very good. So I hope that you were able to hear that. I'll find out when I get done with the show. I'll go back and re-listen. In the meantime, that brings us to our meditation for today. So close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. And another breath. And exhale. Now, imagine yourself walking, simply walking along a path. And as you walk along that path and you see others walking along, you feel the connection with life, and you realize that we are all connected, all walking along a path. And though the paths appear to be going in different directions, they're all ultimately going the same way. So we think about the world and all that's going on, and we realize that we can focus very easily on the things that are going wrong. Or we could turn our attention and focus on all the things that have gone right. And when we look at the things that have gone right, we see a lot more. And we realize our perspective has been off. And by looking clearly at all that has gone right, we begin to appreciate what we have, who we are, and what we have done. So as we go through this life today, we seek to appreciate. Well, let's just imagine appreciating that which we see. So let's just imagine sending this appreciation, positivity, and love out into the world as we travel into the world. And let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. Alright, there you have it. That's our show for today, my friends. Thank you very much for being here. I will be back tomorrow. Hey, let me jump into it. We have an affirmation for today. Let's not forget this. Today's affirmation: I let go of things that always weigh me down. Good thought. Good thought. I let go of things that always weigh me down. So let's let go of those things as we move forth into today. That's it. I'll be back tomorrow with more news, information, and all the other things we do on this show. Till then, have an awesome day. Love you. Keep loving each other. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.